Thank you all for joining us on this beautiful afternoon. I'm thankful that the weather held off. I'd like to officially welcome you to the 123rd Commencement Ceremony at Dearborn High School. Arthur Clark was the first pioneer to graduate in 1897 and was the lone member in his graduating class. This year, we have 484 students we are going to recognize as we celebrate the graduating class of 2020. Students, I cannot tell you how happy I am to finally be able to celebrate this day with you. Life is full of unexpected circumstances, as you have learned this year, and which you will get to experience as you move toward or forward with your lives. Through every circumstance, you will have the opportunity to make a choice on how you respond. I hope and urge you to look at each of those challenges as an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. We are strengthened by struggle, challenge, and failure. But you can only be strengthened if your approach to those situations is founded in positivity. This is not to say that you won't be disappointed, but it is to say that you will have to and already have shown the ability to choose to move on from situations in a useful and constructive way. Life will certainly have highs and lows, and I hope that this is one of those highs for you. Graduating from high school is a great accomplishment. Be proud of it. Let the celebrations of life affirm the legacy of your character, and let the disappointments encourage growth and reflection to further your continued path to maturity, independence, and purpose. At this point, I would like to invite the class of 2020 Vice President Isaac Bazzi to the podium for the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please stand.
Flag's that way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. Everyone can be seated. I would like to recognize some honored guests that we have with us today. Dr. Glenn Maleko, our superintendent. Ms. Fatmi Faraj, the Executive Director of Student Achievement. And Mr. Hussein Berry, the President of the Dearborn Board of Education. At this point, I'd like to invite Dr. Maleko to the podium as our first guest speaker. Dr. Maleko.
Greetings, pioneers. There's a very popular poem by Robert Frost that is often used as part of a graduation speech. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled. The quote is used because it reinforces a message about taking chances or not being afraid to take on new experiences and expand your knowledge base. All very inspirational and an appropriate message for graduating seniors, most graduating seniors. Given how 2020 has unfolded for all of you and the way this school year ended, I don't think that any traditional quote can accurately reflect the events of this school year. I'm reminded of a very similar quote by comedian Jerry Seinfeld, who said, "Sometimes the road less traveled is less traveled for a reason." If 2020 is that less traveled road, I think we can all agree there is absolutely no reason to go down this road again. No amount of exploration or character building can justify another journey on Highway 2020. I'm sorry this year's graduates had to miss out on so many of the traditions and celebrations that are part of a senior year experience. It may bring no comfort to know that you are not alone, that thousands of other graduates also missed out on these experiences. The old saying that misery loves company brings no solace or greater understanding. Given what all of you have lived through, the experiences, the emotions, and the reality of the situation, this class, more than any other class, will be remembered for many years to come. You will be the one unique class that missed out, but in many ways gained so much more than any other class ever has or ever will. Living through this experience will make the class of 2020 the most talked about class for years to come, and what you do that will truly determine the legacy of this class. One of my favorite authors, Stephen Covey, writes, "Just as we develop our physical muscles through overcoming opposition, such as lifting weights, we develop our character muscles by overcoming challenges and, of course, adversity." This year was a challenge. You went From learning in classrooms to learning in Google Hangouts and Zoom meetings, common routines became anything but common. And maybe the part that hurt the most was not being able to say goodbye to teachers, coaches, and classmates. So this year's challenges were an opportunity to exercise those character-building muscles, strengthen your core values, develop your integrity, and grow your ability to overcome adversity. Now it is up to you. Decide how you will use the experiences of the last several months. Will you place blame? Will you ignore the lessons to be learned and let the opportunity pass? Or will you build upon what you have learned, turn it into an opportunity for growth, and move ahead armed with the knowledge that you are capable of overcoming the disappointments in your life? Oh yes, I said disappointments with an S, because there will be more. A friendship that doesn't blossom, a job that isn't offered, an opportunity that never comes. These disappointments are part of life, but they are also part of growing and learning how to be successful. Boxing icon Muhammad Ali said, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." Class of 2020, you are ready to live the rest of your life as champions. I'm confident in your abilities and your resolve to complete your journey in life. Your success will not be measured by the wealth you accumulate or the titles that are earned. Your success will be measured by the citizens that you become. Seniors, I look forward to hearing about your future success. On behalf of the Board of Education, I want to congratulate all of the graduates. It has been a long journey to reach this point. A journey that started 13 years ago and saw historic events unfold around the world. A journey that has prepared a new group of young adults to be the next generation of leaders. I hope that the years in our classrooms have been a great experience for you, filled with friendships, challenges, fun, and of course, lifelong learning. Congratulations. I truly wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you, graduates. Way to go.
Greetings, class of 2020. There's always another bus coming. What goes around comes around. And of course, the sun will come up tomorrow. You may or may not have heard these phrases before, but the theme is obvious. We live in a world where routine and cycles are not only common, but expected. 2020 has proven to be anything but routine or common. Across the country and around the world, millions of people have changed their way of life in order to keep themselves and others safe. It has not been easy, and many of us have felt the disappointment of not being able to take part in anticipated events and celebrations. It is natural to be disappointed, to be sad, and maybe even feel that life has been a bit unfair. More important, how will you use this life experience to become a better person and make a difference in the days ahead? You cannot let the situation define who you are. Rather, you must define yourself by what you have learned and how you have grown by experiencing this situation. And here's the best part. You are not alone. Just over 100 years ago, people around the world, including right here in our state, were dealing with a very similar situation caused by the spread of the Spanish flu. It is estimated that 50 million people worldwide and 675,000 in the U.S. died during the 1917 pandemic. People were ordered to stay at home, social distance, and wear masks. Does that sound familiar? Events were canceled and celebrations were postponed. That does sound familiar. Those students who lived through the pandemic of 1917 did not let the event define who they were. They became the leaders that helped win 2 world wars, the scientists and engineers that created technology to put a man on the moon, started new businesses that helped build a strong economy, and became involved in their communities to bring about social change. These graduates became known as the greatest generation. Class of 2020, do not let disappointments of missing out on the celebrations and traditions of graduation define you. Own this moment. Own this time. Start your next chapter knowing that you are stronger, having lived through a difficult life experience. Channel the emotions, share the knowledge, and use this experience as part of the building blocks to your success. Historians will write about this year, and people will talk about 2020 for decades. And here you are, the generation that can be responsible for bringing about the change that is needed, not just here in our great country, but around the world. That only happens if you make it happen. You can't wait for the other guy. In the words of President Obama, keep exploring, keep dreaming, keep asking why. Don't settle for what you already know. Never stop believing in the power of your ideas, your imagination, your hard work to change the world. You don't need to be an elected official, leader of business, or groundbreaking scientist to bring about change. All you need is to be a good citizen, a good person. Vote in every election. Take care of your family. Treat others as you wish to be treated. Be part of the community. Get involved and stand up for what you know is right and just. Each of these small steps can bring about great change to our world. This is how the class of 2020 will be remembered. Not the class that missed senior prom or commencements, but the class that decided their generation was ready to step up and be the next greatest generation. The world's watching, no pressure, but I know all of you have it in you to do it. Congratulations on all of your success. I wish you all the best as you move beyond the Dearborn Public Schools to the next stop in your journey. We have played a role in preparing you for the road ahead. Now it is up to you to complete the trip. Class of 2020, again, I congratulate you and wish you success in your future.
To all the Dearborn Public High School graduates, congratulations. I'm Debbie Dingle, your Congresswoman, and I just want to say how proud I am of all of you on this great occasion of your graduation. I know these times aren't what you wanted them to be. You wanted to have parties and celebrate and be with your friends and celebrate these transition moments. Well, there's other ways that you can do it. And I think that there's a silver lining because it makes you appreciate your friends more, want to be with them. And you got to work harder to connect with them and stay connected. So I say to you, as something I say to everybody when they're graduating, technology keeps us from having human relationships. So keep working at those friends. They're going to be the best ones you'll have for life. And as you move on, remember who they are because they know who you are and you will be friends for life. So on this day of graduation, I want to wish you much love, luck, and laughter. And know that it is you, your hard work, dedication that got you here today. And my final advice is my favorite quote from Dr. Seuss. Life is too short to wake up in the morning with regrets. So love the people who treat you right. Forget about the ones who don't. And believe that everything happens for a reason. If you get a chance, take it. If it changes your life, let it. Nobody said life would be easy, but they promised you it would be worth it. Congratulations. This is the first day of the rest of your life.
Before we begin recognizing our students, I'd like to thank some people who have been extremely supportive, and without them, this event wouldn't be possible. First and foremost, and I don't see her around, Ms. Terry Maslamani, who helped set all of this up. If we could give her a round of applause. And also our custodial staff and head engineer, Mr. Bill Guido. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the phenomenal and extremely talented teaching staff and administrative staff that is joining us in celebrating this evening. The difference between a school and a building are the people that are inside, and I couldn't be prouder of the people with whom I'm blessed to work for and with. Finally, thank you to our parents. The achievement and accomplishments that the class of 2020 can boast wouldn't be possible without you. Thank you for your support, and congratulations to you as well. Finally, I want to thank the students. I appreciate you for all your work to get to this point and helping make us better educators. I'd like to recognize some of your accomplishments. Each graduating class has top academic achievers. These students compile outstanding academic records that earn them the titles of Valedictorian and Salutatorian. It is my privilege and honor to recognize the honorees today, even though they are not with me here currently. First of all, our Valedictorian, Cindy Hakeem. The class of 2020 Valedictorian has accumulated a 4.494 grade point average. She has taken numerous honors, AP, and college courses and has never received lower than an A. In fact, she has taken 6 AP classes and 15 dual-enrolled classes, totaling 80 college credits, most of which were at the University of Michigan Dearborn. She is using that background in the fall at the University of Michigan Dearborn, where she earned the Chancellor's Scholarship that covers her tuition entirely. Cindy is planning on pursuing a major in biology with the hopes of attending medical school. Please congratulate the Dearborn High School class of 2020 Valedictorian, Cindy Hakeem. The salutatorian of the class of 2020 is another exceptional student, Danya Elizawi. Danya has accumulated a 4.464 grade point average. She has taken 5 AP classes and 16 dual-enrolled college courses. Danya will attend the University of Michigan in the fall. She was the president of Discover Islam, was the NHS Director of Communication, and was involved in Key Club, Anti-Bullying, Link Crew, and Merck. Danya joined us at DHS, where she took 3 classes each semester as an 8th grader. So she's been a pioneer for 5 years total, kind of. Please congratulate the Dearborn High School class of 2020 salutatorian, Danya Elizawi. I'd like to welcome the first of 2 senior speakers, the 2020 class president, Jenna Ashkar. Jenna.
Good afternoon, students, staff, family, and community members. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy. Class of 2020. 4 years ago, we entered this school as nervous as we were on our first day of elementary school. We were confused, lost, scared, but most importantly, excited. Together, we have created unforgettable memories, stepped outside of our comfort zones, and built unbreakable bonds with one another. I am beyond proud of how we came together as a class and overcame hardships like no one else has. And by no one else, I really mean it. This year has been the furthest from predictable. COVID-19 took us by surprise and ended our senior year abruptly. But today, we should remember all the laughs, tears, smiles, life lessons, and experiences we have shared. These are the memories we will remember for the rest of our lives and wish to relive. Along the way, we were guided by amazing staff and faculty. Dearborn High School has the most wonderful staff that are the foundation to any successful student. I want to express my personal appreciation to the teachers, administration, and counselors. Thank you for guiding us in times of need, and thank you for always supporting us with our decisions. To our family members and friends, today's celebration is not only for us graduates, it is for you all. It is for the parents and guardians that spent long nights trying to calm their kids down before an exam, who worked day and night but still managed to make time for our sports events and theater performances, and for those that have pushed their children to take advantage of all the opportunities they may not have had. Thank you to every single parent and guardian that has made countless sacrifices to ensure their children received an education. You invested your love, support, and patience with us, and we will never be able to repay you for that, but we hope to make you proud. And a special shout out to my parents. Mama and Baba, thank you so much for all you have taught me, and thank you for inspiring me to be the best version of myself possible. To the class of 2020. I know this wasn't the preferred way to end our high school career. We have been envisioning what our last spring together would look like for the rest of our lives, and not being able to experience it was truly disheartening. However, we won't be remembered by what we lost to this pandemic, but by how we responded to it. From organizing fundraisers to raise donations for local hospitals to beginning at-home businesses in our spare time, the class of 2020 has truly impressed our community with your resilience and creativity. Education is truly the most powerful weapon in which you can use to change the world, and now is the time to take everything we learned from the past 12 years of our lives and share it with the rest of the world. As the next generation of artists, doctors, lawyers, engineers, politicians, activists, lawyers, and so much more, it is our responsibility to showcase our passions and talents to help rebuild our community and the environment. Class of 2020, you were born when the world was grieving over 9/11, and you are graduating as the world grieves a pandemic. You are no stranger to adversity, but still, you rise. You all did this. You should be proud of what you have overcome, who you have become, and who you will continue to be. We now see beyond borders. We learned, we struggled, we achieved, but most importantly, we survived. We are leaving these halls filled with memories, conversations, and the energies of our voices and spirits. Congratulations, Class of 2020, and good luck on all your future aspirations. Some may have a story, but we created history, literally. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna. At this point, I'd like to welcome our second student speaker to the podium, Sarah Bazzi.
Good afternoon, fellow classmates, teachers, parents, staff, and administration who could be here with us today. I hope you all have been staying safe and healthy during these unprecedented times. I would first like to start off by thanking teachers, parents, family, friends, and staff for all your support and guidance throughout the past 4 years. Your tireless commitment to helping us excel and grow does not go unnoticed. This is not the graduation ceremony or last third of our senior year that any one of us imagined. We missed senior prom, senior party, and many of our award ceremonies. But this pandemic does not define our time at Dearborn High. We have shared many memorable moments in the past 4 years. We promoted our school spirit during football games every Friday, participated in Battle of the Torch, danced at our seasonal balls, stressed over finals and SAT, and most importantly, supported one another on our hardest days. We must not see this as an end of something, but rather the start to harness all that we have learned to address systemic racism and health inequalities illuminated by COVID-19. This will definitely be a time in our life that we will never forget and an experience that will shape us into who we are meant to become. However, there will be much more difficult challenges to endure as we venture on to adulthood. We are heading into an uncertain future. It is our responsibility to enter that future with purpose, passion, and drive to create a more just world. Let us be the class that is remembered for how we use this crucial turning point to come together as a people. Let us be remembered as a class who believed in their dreams enough to step into the careers and future we envision. Let us be the graduating class that sets a new way forward. Most of all, let us be united in beginning our journey of change. We can't control the circumstances we face today, but we can control if we respond to this crisis with the love, acceptance, and hope for a better world. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Last fall, while I was talking to one of the graduating seniors, and as they were reflecting on their high school career coming to an end, they remarked that next year would be the first time in 7 years that they wouldn't be going to school where Mr. Deere was. Because for the last 4 years, Dearborn High School has had the privilege of having Mr. Deere as one of our assistant principals, and before that, he was the assistant principal at Bryant Middle School. So for many of you, next to your parents or guardians, Mr. Deere has been the most consistent adult in your lives. I've asked Mr. Deere to come and share a few words. Mr. Deere.
Good afternoon, graduating class of 2020 and those students who have experienced that 7 years. Well, guys, you have done it. Your time has finally come to celebrate, to enjoy, and let everyone know that you are on your way to achieving all of your dreams and all of your goals. As educators, we look forward to this time of year as well, not just because it's summer break or a couple weeks of vacation, but it is time for us to celebrate with you and to reflect on how fortunate we were to have met you and been a small part of the success that you have achieved. Any educator has been fortunate enough to experience a few years in the same school will tell you how much it means to see students after they have graduated and learn of all the great things you are now doing and all the great things you have done. For a few of us who have had the opportunity to watch students grow over multiple years, we are even more blessed. This year, the class of 2020 will hold a very special place in all of our hearts. When it appeared that you had finally reached the end of your senior year and the light at the end of the tunnel was within grasp, you were challenged by events never before experienced by DHS students or any other students in any of our lifetimes. As you did before, you embraced the new challenge and approached it with the same energy, commitment that you have demonstrated for so many years. This success comes as no surprise to anyone in the DHS community. On a personal note, however, I would have expected nothing less. As many of you are now aware, I have had the privilege of knowing so many of these graduates since they entered the 6th grade. I can think back to a May evening when you showed up at Bryant Middle School as 5th grade students for your 6th grade orientation. You came in, you were nervous, you received a packet of information, sat down in a very hot auditorium with your parents, and begin to wonder, what in the world is going to happen? So the program began, and you were instantly overwhelmed. As we discussed expectations, scheduling, extended core classes, lunches, moving from room to room, and the ominous prospect of using a locker for the first time. 3 years later, you again entered a new school, this time Dearborn High on an April evening, only to have a similar experience. But wait, something wasn't right. You thought to yourself, Mr. Deere is here again. Oh no, he wasn't kidding. He followed us to high school. Guys, that's a decision I will never regret. I am sure those of you who went to other middle schools had similar 6th grade experiences and were equally as nervous on that first night. You, however, were lucky enough you didn't have to meet me until the first time in 9th grade orientation. My words will never express the pride and emotion I feel knowing that I have watched so many of you young men and women as you have grown from nervous 5th graders on orientation night into the wonderful young adults graduating today and entering a world of unbelievable opportunity. Those of you I have known have not known for quite so long also hold a very special place in my memories. We all entered DHS 4 years ago. We were nervous, we were confused, and yes, we were all overwhelmed by the size. However, all of us were looking to the unknown with anticipation, and yes, just a little trepidation. Together we experienced, together we learned, and together we grew into a community. And alone I will lose all of my papers as they blow away. As you move forward into the many unknowns ahead, do this with your heads held high. Whether we have been together for 7 years, 4 years, or less, I've always known you as the ones who set a standard for all others to follow. Although the bar was already high, you raised it and reached beyond it by example, by action. You have and will continue to inspire students in the future. I don't think anyone in education will ever be able to forget those young men and women who comprise this group that we call the class of 2020. I know I will not. You will always have a special place in my heart and in the memories of the entire Dearborn High community. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt once said in a speech, "To some generations, much is given. Of other generations, much is expected. But this generation of Americans has a rendezvous with destiny. This is your destiny today, and your destiny is greatness. Greatness in a future that is full of promises. These promises may be disguised in the unknown, but these are always promises of great change. All of you have truly proven yourself to be true pioneers, both at DHS and in this world of the new normal. It cannot be denied that Dearborn High Class of 2020 will always be remembered for blazing a trail into the future filled with unknowns, leading by examples, and achieving far beyond the expected. The entire DHF stands in awe of you and will always remember the pride you have inspired in all of us. You are pioneers, and you hold a very special spirit which you will carry with you into the future. Congratulations, graduating class of 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Deere. Before we begin the presentation of diplomas, I'd like to recognize two graduates specifically for their service to our country as they have enlisted in a branch of our armed forces. Our two graduates that have done that have enlisted in the Marines, Brendan Barkoff and Aiden McNeil. Please give them a round of applause. All right, so for 13 years, students, you've been wanting this day, and it is here, finally, the presentation of diplomas. Your counselors, Ms. Berry, Mr. Darwish, Ms. Fawaz, Ms. Hipple, and Mr. Rashad, will begin reading out your names, and you'll come across the stage, grab your diploma cover, and be celebrated. Additionally, our assistant principals, Ms. Carol Sizik, Mr. Kelly Deere, and Mr. Marwan Salmi, will be helping present those diplomas. Teachers and other staff that are up here with me, feel free to congratulate students as you guys see fit. At this point, students that are up here with me, if you guys want to go get with your families, counselors, if you want to move into position, and once we're all settled, we'll go ahead and start presenting diplomas. Thank you.